Now entering Nerdist.com.
Good morning, Vietnam, or at least the one listener that I hope we have there. What's up, guys? Dan Casey here, and welcome to another episode of Today We Learned, number 45. Wow, we're over the hill if we were a dad and getting a greeting card. Wow, it's really great to be here. Unfortunately, Razzle is not going to be here today. You know, I don't know where he is. Well, I do know where he is, but I'm not allowed to say. No, he's not been taken by the CIA. Or has he? I'll leave that for you guys to decide. Figure it out. If you know where Razzle is, use the hashtag Where's Razzle. Tweet it at us. Tweet it at him at My Name Is Razzle too. He'll get a kick out of it. Or maybe he won't, because he's probably at a CIA black site. But guys, we're not here to talk about Razzle's Black Ops whereabouts. We're here to talk about today's episode, and today we have a real doozy of an episode for you. Since Razzle couldn't be here, I invited a good friend of mine, the co-host of the Bloodcast, Clarke Wolfe. She came by the studio today to help me navigate the white water rapids that is a relaxing conversation about facts. And today's guest, super excited to have him on here. He's a very funny guy. He's got a brand new hour-long special on Netflix called Champion. You can catch him every Tuesday at 10/9 Central on TBS on Sullivan and Son. I keep wanting to say Sanford and Son, and it just cracks me up imagining him on that show. But I'll let you guys just picture that as the episode plays out. So without further ado, today we learn number 45 with Steve Byrne.
Today we learn. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Today We Learned. I'm one of your hosts, Dan. Razzle is not here with us today. Lord knows where he is. But filling in for Razzle, we have the fabulous Clarke Wolfe.
Oh,
Clarke.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
You may recognize her dulcet tones from the Bloodcast or on Nerdist.com. Great website. Anyway, our guest today, I'm very excited to have him here. I'm a big fan of his show, Sullivan and Son on TBS. Brand new episodes Tuesdays at 10/9 Central. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. That voice you're hearing is Steve Byrne.
I'm not lying. It really is me.
Okay.
You are correct with the introduction.
Thank goodness.
I'm glad to be here, but I am sad we don't get a little razzle-dazzle today. I'm not going to lie. But
Whoa. All right, well.
But.
Sorry to
I said but.
Okay.
But I think we can do even better.
Oh.
Even better. We're going to exceed expectations today. We're going to blow the roof off of this. So fuck you, Razzle.
Yeah.
This is your loss, dude.
You heard it first, Razzle. Get fucked.
Get fucked.
We're going to take this from a solid B to a B+.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because you have an Asian. I instantly bump up the curve just by being here. Yeah. Without even opening my mouth, we went to a B+.
We're podcasting on a curve today.
It's true. Both my parents were educators, and that is actually how most curves work. little known educational fact. We're learning already.
So many facts.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. So, Steve, happy you're here. We usually like to start the show off with the guest giving either a fact about themselves people might not know or something they learned recently.
Okay, a fact that very few people know is that I, for one summer of my life, opened for Mariah Carey.
What?
And I never told any of my friends that for a summer I was opening for Mariah Carey.
This is amazing.
Yeah,
Why would you not tell people this?
Because I was a grown man opening for Mariah Carey.
Yeah,
so
but
this was this recently?
No, this has got to be, this is like 2003, I think.
Yeah.
I did like 12 shows, never met her.
Really?
Wow.
You think she would come out at least once, be like, "Hi, thank you for opening." Like,
no, not at all.
Just like press the flesh once. It doesn't have to be
nothing.
Wow.
There's no shaking hands and kiss of babies with that crew.
Did you ever see her?
On stage.
Okay, but never like walking around backstage.
Never.
That's interesting to me.
It's so funny because I think at the time she was single, and like as a dude. Keep in mind, it's 2003. Mm-hmm. She was, she's still beautiful, but she was a little younger then. In my head, I'm thinking, you know what? I'm gonna kill it tonight, and Mariah Carey is gonna want some of this.
Whoa.
She's gonna want to get on the train.
What up, Mimi?
Yeah. But I'm no Nick Cannon.
It's true. A few of us are.
Yeah,
a few of us can claim to be the star of Drumline. That's a coveted position.
Dan, Nick Cannon's hilarious.
Listen. I Wild 'N Out. That was a show he was on.
He was on a lot of shows.
Yeah, he's.
I always think of Chappelle's show. That's what I always think of.
Was he a constant on
he on
Chappelle's
No, the
show?
little kids love him, and his kids loved him, and they just love Nick Cannon. That's what I think of.
Huh.
Yeah.
Children love Nick Cannon.
That's and Nick
And
Cannon
Mariah Carey.
loves Mariah.
There you go.
I was gonna say children, but I don't want to get sued for. Is this libel or slander? I think it's slander.
Libel's print.
Yes.
That's the Spider-Man quote.
If he reads a transcript, it'll be libel.
I agree with everything you two just said.
Yeah. Wait,
And either way, I would have believed anybody.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. I have no idea the difference between the two, but I was like, that sounds right. Yeah, the thing in print, sure. I'll go with that.
J. Jonah Jameson.
that's yeah.
Right?
Parker, my office.
Exactly. Libel's print.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
Well, I have a question. Were you doing stand up to open for, or were you doing a musical performance?
I'm not doing musical performance at all. I was doing stand-up, and it was horrible. It's the old cliche, but it really honestly did happen to me, where the lights drop. 16th, I remember vividly at Red Rocks. It was one of the first ones I did. Red Rocks Amphitheater. It's gorgeous.
Wow. Beautiful
it's
place.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Backstage, it's like a Star Trek set where the dressing rooms are in caves and everything. It's wild. And so the lights go down. The place goes crazy. They're like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Red Rocks Amphitheater and Mariah Carey's Charm Bracelet Tour. 16,000 people go crazy. And they go, and now Steve Byrne. Quiet. Just quiet. And this was before I think I even had my half hour on Comedy Central, so nobody knew who I was. Nobody.
It wasn't like a respectful moment of silence?
No, there was like 2 people on MySpace at the time that might have known who I was. So
He's in my top 8!
Why were you touring with, like, I understand, I know the like, it's a part of comedy touring with a musical artist, but why was Mariah Carey having a comedian open for her?
I have no idea.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Neither do I, but I was doing it. I didn't make any. I think I got $200 per show, by the way. I was literally going to do to get the experience of performing in front of that many people.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll fly myself out there. I'll take it on the chin. I'll pay my hotel. They didn't care how you got there. I was like, I'm taking a cab. It was horrible.
Wow.
Absolutely the worst. I was barely there.
Wow.
But it was, I got through it. It's when you're a comic, you'll do anything to pay the bills. At the time, too, I think I was like 6 years into stand-up, so you're excited to just be a part of it and doing it, and you're making money and you're paying your rent. But that it was like, wow, I'm kind of in show business. And looking back now, I couldn't have been further from show business, but it was an experience.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's fodder for future stand-up bits.
Yes,
The circle
absolutely.
of life.
The circle of life.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Have you opened for any musicians since?
I've opened for comedians, yes. There was a string of time where I opened for a lot of musical acts. I remember I did Last Call for Carson Daly when he was in New York. It was like the last month that he was doing it. And this is before Kanye West's first album came out. So I was on the same show as he was, and then a week later I got a call asking if I'd open for him at a SUNY school. And I was like, sure. So I showed up at 7:30. The show starts at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock he's not there. 8:15 he's not there. 8:30 he's not there. They're like, can you go on stage? I go on stage at 8:30. I go, okay. I do my 20 minutes. I come off. They're like, he's still not here. Can you do another 15 minutes? I'm like,
oh, my God.
Okay. And let's keep in mind, we're 2 different kind of crowds.
Yeah.
They're how else to describe? But I guarantee they're all Democrats. How about we put it that way? Okay. So I went up, did another 15 minutes of crowd work. I come up. He's still not on stage.
Oh, my goodness.
I was like, I'm done. I'm out of here. Thank you. Good luck.
Yeah.
Left. Got a call from my manager the next day. Supposed to show up at 8 o'clock. Showed up at 10:45.
Holy
did 3
cow.
songs. Left and got I think like $30,000.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I used to do a lot of booking for musicians back in college.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff, some of the asks and the prices they would get, insane. And that does not surprise me. But wow, 3 songs. It's difficult for me to imagine Kanye performing at a SUNY school as well, especially compared to
Compared to what he's doing
stage
now, yeah.
shows now, which is like multiple props and costume changes.
Yeah, I saw him at a SUNY school next to like a coffee bean.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I was.
What up, New Paltz?
The sad thing is he's doing like Wembley, and I'm still hoping to go back to SUNY.
Yeah. Well, they would be lucky to have you.
That's what I keep thinking. Yeah,
exactly.
That's what I keep thinking. Appreciate that.
Yeah, who needs SUNY? Go for you're right here in California. Go for UCLA.
I got to tell you.
Yeah.
I've only been here for a few minutes. You're the best fan I ever had.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I was hoping we were gonna do some trust falls later on. So I'm glad we're approaching that place.
We'll get the Kingsford hot coals out back.
exactly.
Yeah, we'll do it all.
Ooh, barbecue. So judging by your Steelers hat and what I have written here, you were born in Freehold Township, New Jersey, but you grew up in Pittsburgh. Is that correct?
I grew up in Pittsburgh. The show's based in Pittsburgh. I've always considered Pittsburgh my home. I love the city. A lot of people equate it to a sandwich with French fries and coleslaw because you watch the Food Network or Diners, Drive-Ins, any of those food things. They always say Permane Brothers is the best sandwich in the country, and I agree with that. But Pittsburgh, I love the sports teams, and I like Midwestern values, blue-collar mentality. That's kind of the core of Sullivan and Son. It's kind of what I grew up with, and I'm proud of the fact that that's, I like people with name tags. You know, they go to work and they make an honest living. That's kind of my crowd.
Yeah, very, very meat and potatoes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how I describe myself in the bedroom. Meat and potatoes.
Well, just make sure you have a napkin. So we got some facts about Pittsburgh. It is the second largest city in the state of Pennsylvania and the 20th largest in the United States.
Okay.
Obviously, makes sense. It's known as the Steel City for its more than 300 steel-related businesses and the City of Bridges for its 446 bridges.
I didn't know there was 447. I always thought it was over 300, but now I have the exact number. So
exactly,
yeah, I'm learning.
Right?
This
podcast is working already.
You've earned the educational.
We went up to an A-.
Yeah.
Oh.
There we go.
Yeah.
We'll make Dean's List before we know it. And this, I also found this interesting. There's more than 700 sets of stairs in the city.
Who the fuck?
Right?
Is doing?
I read this. I read that on Mental Floss. So someone.
There's over 700 flights of stairs?
700, I think, like, sets of stairs. So I think it's more, you know how there's, like, different sets of stairs around L.A. where it's like the silver, like, hidden staircases. I think it's more something like that.
Whoever knows that's the guy, whenever you go to a strip club with your friends, that's the guy that's sitting by himself. Yeah. That's who knows that fact.
Listen, I don't care who's on stage. I'm trying to think about how many staircases there are to get up to the stage.
I relate to everything in this conversation.
Yeah.
Right?
I love strip clubs and I love stairs.
I love stairs. These are my favorite things.
How many sets of stairs are in Meltdown?
I would say 2.
2?
Because there's one to get up to the podcast recording studio from the front.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's one
in the back,
right? Auditorium. Oh, there's actually 3. There's one in the side gallery as well.
These are things you should know, guys, in case of emergency. Anything breaks out. Do you do the drills? See, now you don't need to do a trust exercise with me.
Exactly.
I care about you.
Thank you.
I care about you.
Thank you.
All right, guys?
Trust
Come on.
you.
Let's live.
This is a pretty flammable store. I mean,
oh, yeah. There's neon.
Old
there's
comics.
There's posters everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think this room is on fire right now.
Yeah, I saw some embers in the corner right behind the giant guy from Mars Attacks. You know what works really well on podcast is visual humor. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm glad we're getting this out of the way. So Pittsburgh, known for steel, it's also led innovations in industries, things like aluminum, glass, shipbuilding, petroleum, foods, appliances, sports, transportation. Jesus Christ, this list goes on. It was a corporate headquarters. It made it like a center for corporate headquarters for employment for much of the 20th century, second to only New York in bank assets and with more stockholders per capita than any other U.S. city. So there's a real booming business
So
center.
fuck you, New York.
Yeah.
Prior to 1958.
Yeah. Then things took a turn. But and also a cool thing, George Romero, famous director, shot a majority of his Living Dead films in Pittsburgh, in the Pittsburgh area.
That makes sense because if you walked around Pittsburgh prior to 97, it did resemble the film I Am Legend. Yeah. It's one of those cities at 5 o'clock, everybody's going to fuck out of
it's
here.
weird.
Yeah.
Will Smith hung out there a lot with his dog.
Romero actually shoots most of his movies there. In fact, I think he's only left like once or twice to make a movie. Yeah, he's still very much holding on to that independent thing, but he likes to work out of Pittsburgh.
Well, it's smart. It's an area that it's not appearing in a lot of other films, so it's going to set it apart. And also, I imagine there's some sort of tax credit for that too.
There's got to be, but there's so many films that are actually filmed there. I remember in one year they had The Dark Knight Rises, Jack Reacher, like a Russell Crowe movie, and like Russell Crowe and Elizabeth Banks, I think, were in a movie. And then there was one other one. Oh, that Taylor Lautner abduction one.
Yeah.
Because they filmed it at my high school, Hampton High
really?
School. Yeah. So they filmed it there, and I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. Kind of not, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah, well, it's cool when you're like, I know where this is.
Yeah, I got my ass kicked there. I jerked off in the bushes over there. I remember getting a boner in that spot.
Sweatpants. May they rest in peace. So something
I
else.
remember wearing Umbro shorts over there.
Oh, there's a throwback. I haven't thought about those since soccer practice in like my.
You had your
sophomore year.
Umbros though, right?
Yeah, I had my Umbros, of course. They were like the most dominant brand of children's sports equipment.
I had my Diodore sneakers,
of
and my
course.
Umbro shorts.
Yeah.
Basically, boner camouflage is what it was.
Exactly. The pattern disguises it.
Tell me more about this boner camouflage.
Yeah.
Boner camouflage. Well, it's it's like
Teach me something about boner camouflage.
in junior high school. It's like, does he have a boner? Does he not have a boner? I don't know, because Umbros are not the most. See,
I always thought that the people wearing Umbros were just athletic.
Yeah,
Clearly.
they are. They're athletic, but they're also at half-mast.
True. But it's ironic that, like, Italians, like, if you watch old episodes of The Sopranos, they're always, like, in tracksuits.
Yeah.
But they're the most unathletic. Like, none of them are jogging.
Well,
they're
yeah.
just eating
Right,
pasta
right.
and killing people, and they're always in Adidas tracksuits.
Yeah, well, there's half the day, it's either Adidas or, like, a velour tracksuit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is for comfort, not for athleticism.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
For the man that loves carbs.
Yes. Yeah. Some nice cashmere running shorts. Yeah. So something else about Pittsburgh, the locals, and I may be wrong on this, they're called Yinzers? They call them
Yinzers, yeah.
Yinzers? And Yins is sort of like y'all.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Yin's all going downtown. It's a horrible accent. It's
Yeah.
like if you thought The Nanny was a bad accent, then you do not want to see Shakespeare's Summer Stock performed in Pittsburgh.
Oh, my
gosh.
goodness.
Yeah.
That's,
Actually,
that should
I
be
kinda
pretty,
do.
Yeah, that'd be pretty amazing now that you talk.
That
you
needs to be
mention
the tagline.
Yeah.
Yeah, the romantic Pittsburgher.
So what is city chicken?
City chicken. I don't know about city chicken.
Okay, because
Is that
according
something I should
to
know?
my research,
Yeah?
it is pork or veal cubes on a wooden skewer.
That just sounds like a kebab.
Yeah,
Right?
it does. But there was a little list of Yinzer slang.
City chicken? I don't know. Maybe they call it that. I know that like rubber bands or gum bands.
Gum bands, I have that.
You have that. Downtown. That's how you say downtown.
Yeah.
Yins. Stalers. It's not Steelers. It's Stalers.
It just kind of sounds like italicized English
Yeah. It's like if you were having a stroke while
Yeah.
you're trying to communicate. Yeah.
of genius.
Which that was.
Today's episode brought to you by the Pittsburgh Board of Tourism. Pittsburgh, come visit.
Board of Cleveland. Come to Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah. See, I drove through Ohio one time, and that was enough.
Well, I got to say, I like Ohio a lot. I like anything in the Midwest. Where are you from?
I grew up just outside of Boston.
Okay. And where are you from?
Atlanta.
Atlanta?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're both near pretty big cities. I mean, Boston's a kick-ass city, and Atlanta's pretty awesome, although it's all spread out. And
Yes.
when people complain about the traffic, you must be like, no, I'm from Atlanta. This is...
Yes, actually.
Yeah,
I do.
Atlanta's pretty bad.
It's awful. It's worse than here because at least here you can take side streets. In LA,
Right.
there are 4 different ways you can get someplace. In Atlanta, there's one.
Exactly. Well, like when if I'm gonna hook up with a girl in LA, it's like, baby, I'll go side streets for you.
That's right. That's the app. They've got an app for that.
It's called
Yeah.
Side Streets?
It's called. It's
Is it really?
What is it called? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's It's called
There's an
Side
app?
Streets.
Oh, I thought it was like an
Not
app
to
for
hook
hooking up,
up.
but it's like, I'm gonna take the side streets
Yeah.
now.
I think we just came up with a new project.
So is it like Tinder meets Waze?
Yeah, Waze. That's what I'm trying to talk
Okay.
about. That's what I'm talking about is Waze.
Oh, I thought you meant there was a specific app, like find the fastest route to your hookup spot.
No, that's what Waze is.
Okay,
Obviously.
gotcha,
What do you-
gotcha.
It's called On the Side Streets.
Yeah. Something.
Sorry, guys. I'm not Wayne Brady. I try to improv. But
It's all good. It's all good.
all right.
Yes, and I'd like to hear some more. Oh, speaking of apps, I was in Iceland a couple months ago, and I may have talked about this before, but I didn't see it in action, but I was told a number of times it's such a small country that they have an app. So when you're out at the bar and you decide whether you go home with someone, there's an app to let you know whether or not you are related to that person.
What?
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because
They
I
need
think
that
it's something
in the
like
South.
300,000 people in Reykjavik. So like it's not that big event, it's
But there's a
limited-
dude that's like
Yeah.
at 2:15, he's like, you
And
know
they're-
what, fuck it.
Yeah, they're all gorgeous, blonde, like svelte
Yeah.
people. So, you're just gonna make sure that you're not, Lannistering your way.
But what's
Yeah.
the cutoff? Is it like cousins? Is it like
I think if you're related,
I'm from the South.
Yeah.
I gotta
but
ask
she's
these
hot,
things.
it's like, you know what, now it's going on the butt. Because if it goes in the butt, it doesn't count.
That's true. I remember hearing that. I think
That's
it
on
was,
the app. It
Is that-
advises you
course of action, butt
exactly.
stuff.
How close are you related?
Ignore the fjord, go for the butt.
But it's weird because we were talking before the podcast began, and you were telling me that you consider anal first base.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
still true?
exactly. It's true. It is true.
Okay, because you were talking a lot of shit earlier, but
because
it's
you
like when
don't
push comes to shove.
slide into first. That's a rule.
I like that. You will get an applause break out of me.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't care if I'm one person. I'll still rally. I'll get the rally monkey out. You get an applause break from me.
I'll clap for your anal sex jokes, Dan.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all. I just crave applause. So you mentioned you're a big fan of the sports. Are you a hockey fan?
Huge Penguins fan. You a Bruins fan?
I am indeed.
Okay, well,
it
you
broke my
guys-
heart that those hapless Habs knocked us out this year.
Come on, look. That's a great rivalry. That's what makes rivalry great. But look, at the end of the day, you guys got the ring. You had a ring, 2 years ago?
Yeah,
You swept us. You kicked our asses. And-
unexpectedly.
Look, that was the year we were like, we became the Yankees of the NHL. It's like
Yeah.
we had Iginla, we had everybody. Iginla was going to go to you guys. He came to us fourth quarter, and we're thinking, wow, okay, we're going to win this year. And we just blanked against you guys. You guys swept us.
Yeah, we got lucky. We got lucky. But,
You did not get lucky.
Well, we did good. Go Bruins. Good job, guys.
It's hard to repeat.
Yeah, it is.
It's hard to
because you
repeat
have
the
that
cup.
pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just look at Spain in this year's World Cup.
This is where you lost me. Can we talk about butt sex again?
Yeah, Spain is sort of like the butt sex of Europe.
And you don't need an app because Spaniards, they'll fuck anything.
Yeah, well, they
Yeah,
do.
cousin or no.
Here's the thing: they do love naps so much, so it's built into their workday. It's a siesta. They're like, oh man, 3 hours, gotta take a time out. Let's take a quick nap.
It kind of makes sense though, because if you really think about it, that's like if you were to watch all three Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
it's like you watch one, it's like 3.5. All right, I got to take a nap ski, and
Exactly.
I'm back for Fellowship.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Listen, if we're doing extended edition, I'm gonna need some water breaks.
absolutely.
Do you know how the Penguins got their name?
It is. Is it? I shouldn't say it is because I'm not sure. But is it because they played in the igloo and the igloo was a retractable roof and it was like a dome? Is that true?
That is part of it. Yes. So they had a contest to pick the nickname for the team, and it was inspired in part by the fact that they play in the igloo.
Right.
And it was this guy named Mark Peters had the winning entry of Penguins, and the logo was chosen that had a penguin in front of a triangle, which symbolized the golden triangle of downtown Pittsburgh.
the Three Rivers. Yeah.
Yeah.
But did you know this?
I did not.
To correlate, to bring it back home to Boston, Pittsburgh, you guys were really, really pissed off because we wanted to initiate a symbiotic Pirates, Steelers, Penguins, everybody wears black and gold. But the Bruins put up a hissy fit saying, hey, black and gold is our thing. And at the time, there were
Really?
only so many teams in the NHL, so it made sense. So we came in with the powder blue white. And then only until a few years later, you guys kind of relented. And then we had the powder blue, white, and black and gold, which is like the worst hockey jersey ever. And then I think the Bruins saw how ugly that jersey was like, you know what, fuck it, guys, go for it.
Like, we're
Just take
sorry.
the black and gold. Yeah.
We never wanted this. We didn't think it would come to this.
Yeah.
It's funny because although I grew up with the Bruins, so I associate the black and gold with them. But when I think if you were to say black and gold, name a sports team, probably the first one to come to mind would be Penguins or Steelers, or just like those colors to me are ingrained with Pittsburgh. Whereas more, I would think about if I was thinking of a Boston sports team, I'd probably think of the Red Sox or the Patriots first.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Just because it was honestly the NHL strike. They love striking. They love the lockouts, and that really injured people's interest.
I don't know that they like striking as much as they love saying, hey, guys, people are starting to tune in hockey. How can we fuck this up?
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Let's nip this in the bud.
There's an app for that, by the way.
Oh, is there?
Did you know that? Yeah.
Bud nippers? Oh, no, nipping in the... I think it's probably Grinder. So let's see here. Oh, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes comes out next week.
Yes. So pumped.
It is
So
fantastic. I saw a press screening.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's real good.
So it does live up to...
I think it's better than Rise.
I saw some early stuff. I have not seen the full movie yet, though.
Yeah.
But from what I saw, it's fantastic.
Rise was fucking awesome, by the way. Completely blew me away.
Came out of nowhere. I was not expecting it to be as good as it was.
And it's such a great premise, because if you think about it, like, you go back to the history of Planet of the Apes. Rod Serling, as I'm sure you know, because you obviously know your films, and you're here. So in this atmosphere, this universe that knows everything nerd. So I think if you really think about it, I think Rod Serling must have written that probably as a Twilight Zone episode, because it really could have been.
Yeah.
But he's like, you know what? Let's make this bitch into a movie, because I mean, it is awesome. The Rise is awesome. I cannot wait to see this new one.
Yeah, it's really fantastic. I'm glad you brought up Rod Serling, because that was what I was going to mention, is that with the original 1968 film, not only did he co-write the film, but in classic Twilight Zone fashion, he was the one who came up with the twist ending with the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. That's going to be exciting, because this is all prior to.
Yes.
So these are all prequels.
Yeah, so it's all leading to that. And I just spoke with the director, Matt Reeves, the other day, and he was saying that's
Name
part
dropping.
of the... Yeah, right?
He can't
Director
help
Matt
himself.
Reeves.
Jesus.
What can I say? My buddy, Mattarino, Nasty M. He was saying that that's part of the beauty of it, is that we know where it's going. We know it's leading to the planet of the apes. So this is, we get to see it, how it evolves, how it happens.
Because I see the posters, and just from what I've seen in the trailers or whatever, just in the poster, you've seen the destruction of San Francisco. So I'm wondering if they're going to lead it to the apes slowly moving over to the East Coast, and then the demise of the East Coast, or the demise of the whole planet. I don't know, but I'm excited to see some destruction.
We'll see.
I think you're going to be very pleased with what you see.
I had the pleasure of watching Dawn, so the one that's already come out, the James Franco movie, with a friend of mine who did not know that it was that the apes talk eventually.
Oh, really?
And so when Caesar said no, she lost her mind.
Yeah.
She
Oh my
did
God.
not know that it was coming. And she was like, what the fuck just happened? That monkey just talked. And I was like, Sarah, they talked. This is the beginning of it. And
But that was the great
It was
moment in that movie, though,
amazing.
because it's all kind of building to that. And then when that happens, it's like, how do you take an iconic franchise like they had, where they ruined it when the apes are like going to the mall and they're shopping and stuff in those
Right.
latter movies, and to reinvent it like they did, but to build to that, and like when that moment happened, it was like, holy fuck, this is going to be awesome.
And that was what was so neat about talking to those guys over down at WonderCon when we were down there a couple of months ago, was they said, no, like they're still learning to talk. They're still building the language in this new movie. So we're not going from 0 to 60. Like you are actually going to see the progression of how they became, the apes in the original Heston film.
Yeah, you see how we go from Caesar to Dr. Zaius.
It's so
right,
cool.
yeah. But that's the great thing about this time period of our lives, that the technology has finally caught up, so you can do all these things. And it's almost like, there's like some movies I'll see the trailer for, and I'm like, I know 10 years ago I would have been fucking pumped to see this movie, but now it's like we're almost spoiled with all these great visual effects. But every now and then, when you can find a movie or franchise like Planet of the Apes, where it's like, this is going to be great. They finally found a way to make this interesting, and it's not some guy in a costume with the robotic. It looks fucking real. So I'm pumped. I'm really excited. I can't wait to see Guardians of the Galaxy. Everything that's coming out, I can't wait.
Guardians looks so good.
I can't
Yeah.
wait.
And it looks like the Marvel movie that's got a real sense of humor about it, too.
Absolutely.
So in the trailer, I was like, we get some laughs. I mean, the Avengers,
Yeah.
it was really fun. There's definitely some moments, but this one, it seems like...
Well, when the first trailer came out, you just hear "Hooked on a Feeling"
It's
start
so
playing.
Yeah, I was
You're
like,
just
this is different.
I am on board.
And it was like that first moment in Iron Man where you see the AC/DC Back in Black, and you're like,
Yeah.
and then it's with Hooked on a Feeling, like 10 years later, and you're like, oh my God, my mind is exploding. But I think it's so cool. James Gunn, here's what I can't wait for, and this is just because I'm a little twisted, but I can't wait for everybody to go and see Guardians of the Galaxy and go, what else has this director done? We should check out some of his other... Super? It's on
What's-
instant Netflix.
Yeah.
What's Slither?
If you have not seen any of his other movies...
Slither was awesome.
Slither
Yeah.
is one, and Super with Rainn Wilson, which I actually really like, but it is very
Does that
divisive.
have what's her name? Ellen Page? Yeah.
And it is a very, oh God, it's so brutal and awful, and I
Yeah.
just can't wait for all these families to tune into instant Netflix.
Oh my! There is no talking
What's
raccoon in this one.
No. Where's the tree?
That's the fun thing about. I think we're very fortunate too to live in LA, because not to to anybody that's listening, sorry, but it's like the great thing about living here is that at midnight on Thursday, you can go to ArcLight and see when these movies come out, and you're packed in with a bunch of other people that are there at midnight, and they're so excited. That's the thing that's excited me. Like when I went to see, you guys see The Raid and The Raid 2?
Yeah.
So I went to The Raid 2, opening night, and it was just all dudes, and I'd never been to a movie before where people were clapping like it was a concert. Yeah. Guys are high-fiving strangers, and there's just something about the community here, I think, that really gets behind film, and it gets excited about that, and it's fun to be with other fans of cinema like that.
Yeah, and it's especially cool when they're really passionate about a film that's a little bit smaller in terms of the release it gets, like The Raid or The Raid 2.
Yep.
Yeah, The Raid 2, like I have a bunch of friends that never even heard of the original Raid, so what we did was I had them all come over, we watched The Raid, we did a little barbecue, went over ArcLight, and blew it out. And they were like, "Thank you, thank you for that."
Yeah, that was. It wasn't super packed, but I was impressed by the number of people. I went to go see Snowpiercer recently.
Oh yeah,
which has sort of a Raid Dread vibe in that they're trying to get from the back of the train to the front of the train.
Right.
So good if you get the chance to go see it.
And it's odd that they don't have one black person in that movie. You're trying to get to the front of the train?
Oh, yeah. they do, actually. They do.
Okay,
yes,
good.
Yes.
Okay, so even in the future...
Maybe it was a
the
weird
blacks are still trying to get to the front of the train.
it was, it's an interesting film, and Tilda Swinton is just...
I've heard great things about it.
The best.
I've heard it's really good.
I can't... I see her in movies, I'm like, am I attracted to her?
Yeah,
yes,
I think...
I want to be,
yes
but I'm like...
is the answer.
There's some movies
if not aesthetically, for talent alone.
Then you're like,
yeah. Well, because in this film, she does not play a particularly attractive person. Like, she even has like false teeth at one part.
Yeah.
So you're like, no, but what's up, Tilda? How you doing?
What's up, Tilda?
Constantine was just on this
my
weekend,
God.
and I rewatched it. And I know for the purists out there, it's blasphemy, but I don't even care. I love that movie.
By the way, What's Up, Tilda sounds like a show we're going to see on the Disney Channel.
Yeah, it's today on What's Up, Tilda.
Yeah.
We learned about how calculus could save lives. Disney XD, if you're listening, that's copyrighted. I'm sure that's exactly what they're thinking. So a movie, let me watch this segue, a movie like The Raid is something I would describe as being very balls out, balls to the wall in terms of its action.
Yes.
But do you guys know where that phrase comes from?
Tell us, Dan.
Balls to the wall?
Yeah.
No idea.
Well.
But that, by the way, that is my party name.
Yeah, balls to the wall?
Yeah. When I show up at like one of those Eyes Wide Shut movies, they introduce me as, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Balls to the Wall.
Yeah, you've got the nice like masquerade mask, but also like a tank top with it printed on the back, fraternity style. So, according to what I'm assuming is not a porn website, bangshift.com.
How is that not a porn site?
It's for cars and gearheads, according to these notes here.
That love masturbating.
Yes, that also love banging. Listen, I love manual transitions. Anyway, James Watt, one of the pioneers of steam engine development in the early 1800s, invented many things, one of which something called the flyball regulator, which worked to regulate steam pressure and speed within a steam engine. The regulator used two balls mounted on these some mechanical arms, which were usually made of iron or brass, depending on the size
This
of
thing
the
that spins
engine.
around?
Yeah.
Okay.
So these they were made of iron or brass depending on the size of the engine they were used on, varied in weight and other details, but they all generally worked with the same principle.
Right.
So the regulator was hooked to the flywheel, and as the flywheel spins around, the regulator would spin as well. As it spins faster, the centrifugal force would cause the balls to raise higher and higher until the engine reached full speed, at which point the balls would be out and facing towards the wall. So balls out, balls toward the wall. You're just talking about locomotion steam engine style.
Full speed ahead.
Yes, exactly.
I like it. All right, I did not know that.
Yeah. So when chief engineers would ask mechanics at what speed the engine was running, they would reply balls out or balls to the wall,
right,
to indicate they were running at full steam.
Wow. Well, I got to remember that because I'm married, so I'm going to say that to my wife this evening. I'm going to. What are you working on, Steve? You know what I'm working on.
Yeah.
It's balls to the wall, honey. Balls out. Let's go.
I'm just trying to tell you about steam engine development.
Yeah, with my testicles out.
Yes, exactly. As we mentioned, visual aids are integral to the learning process. Centrifugal force is a hell of a thing. So, you know, if I saw someone's testicles rotating at maximum speed, I would probably send out an SOS signal, or I would cry out Mayday.
Well, they can only twist so long.
Because
I
torsion.
think you get... maybe 2 or 3 rotations until we got a situation on our hands.
Yeah, if not, I think it's like that, how you can only fold a piece of paper 7 times. You can only twist your balls so many times.
I wonder what that is. It's got to be, I don't think any more than, I think 2.5.
Yeah, I would say it probably...
In the skateboarding world, it's a 720, I believe, right?
Yeah, 720, pop shove it.
Yeah.
And hopefully there was no grinding involved. I don't think that made it into Tony Hawk Pro Skater, but I'll have to double check. I'll have to go back and boot up the old PS1. Sorry that we're talking about balls, Clarke.
No, I'm learning so much. This is an educational podcast,
really is.
Isn't it?
Yes. So the phrase Mayday.
Here we go.
Yes.
Okay.
This is where this
Mayday,
segue was going.
Mayday,
Yes.
Dan, Mayday, please.
Yes. Get me out of this conversation. So before Mayday, people would use...
As you rotate your testicles 2 times, it's like, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday.
And you happen to be on your ham radio.
Yes.
So SOS was the Morse code equivalent of Mayday, and this originated back in 1923. A guy named Frederick Stanley Mockford, who was a senior radio officer at London's Croydon Airport. He was asked to think of a word that would indicate distress and would be easily understood by all pilots in the event.
I know who you're talking about, by the way. He had actually started an indie band back in the day called Mockford and Sons.
Oh,
and it did not last. Quick information.
He invented the beard.
Yes. First to wear skinny jeans, guys.
Really?
Yes.
You
Mockford
guys-
and Sons.
Are you guys going to have Mumford and Sons on Sullivan and Son at some point?
I think we would all spontaneously combust if that happened.
Yeah,
that's too many sons.
It's a real Highlander type scenario.
Yes.
There can only be one son.
Exactly.
Yeah. The problem was much of the traffic of the time between Croydon and Paris, that it was back and forth coming between London and Paris. So they needed a word that would be recognized by both British pilots and French pilots. So they settled on the word Mayday from the French Madère, I hope I'm saying that right, which meant come help me.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. And then in 1927, the International Radio Telegraph Convention of Washington adopted the voice call Mayday in place of SOS Morse code. So that's when it became official. 1927, great year for being in trouble.
Because before that it was
Before that it was long, short, long. It's like, Seth, we can't do anything with this. These bloops and or beeps.
Right, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Do you guys ever, was that a thing that you have to do in like the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, learn Morse code? Is that a thing? I have no idea.
I never was. I was never molested, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I was not a part.
Yeah, I had great uncles.
I did not Girl Scout or Brownie.
Yeah. You did
not?
Brownies as well. No, I never was into that. I think my mom was very anti that for some reason. I don't know
Really?
why. Yeah, I think she thought it was kind of silly.
Because like Boy Scouts learn how to camp and like survive and do all that shit, but then you always hear about them like camping and survive, but they always get lost in the woods. So I never understood that. But like, what are Girl Scouts known for?
That's a good question.
Delicious cookies.
Exactly.
Yeah, other than that, it's like well, you're raising money, but I don't know.
think
what the
my
fuck
mom kind of was not a fan of the whole idea of your job as cookies.
Yeah, well,
To be honest with you,
your mom's.
I'm sure they do a lot of charitable work, but I would usually see Girl Scout outfits being repurposed as ironic college Halloween costumes.
Exactly. They're single-handedly keeping the Halloween costume industry afloat.
But where are the slutty Thin Mints? That's what I want to know.
And by the way, I'll only hook up with slutty Thin Mints.
Yes.
Unless I'm drunk, then I'll hook up with the slutty bigger mints, but I want a Thin Mint.
I believe they're called peanut butter patties. Wait, did they rename the peanut butter patty? Am I crazy? I thought they did.
Are you talking about tagalongs?
Is that what they're called now? Tagalongs?
Well, it's like the cookie that has
chocolate with peanut butter inside.
Yeah.
They used to be called peanut butter patties.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I've always known them as tagalongs.
Yeah, not to be confused with
Peppermint
Patty,
who
belongs to York and or Marcy.
Yes, I was about to touche.
Yeah.
That's where I was thinking too.
Was she in Charlie Brown too?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
She was. She wore green, had freckles.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I always like Pigpen.
Yeah, Pigpen, because he
just
always
didn't
had
give a
those
fuck.
stank lines.
Yeah.
I was always disappointed that in real life you never see like visible stink lines coming off of someone, because that seems like something that would just. I know it's a cartoon to indicate they smell bad.
Yeah.
But
He's just a dirty kid.
Yeah.
He didn't give a fuck.
yeah, he's just what?
What's up, guys? I
par-
stink. I don't give a
My parents clearly don't care.
Yeah.
They've given up.
Well, you can't kick a football. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, Charlie Brown, you with your congenital birth defect and your giant head.
Poor Charlie Brown.
Yeah. Well, he's richer than all of us.
That's
so
true.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Girl Scouts getting lost in the woods. Speaking of Lost, were you guys fans of the show? Did you watch Lost back in the day?
Loved Lost.
Yeah.
Loved it. It was weird because it was on for a few years, and I think it was like in its third season. I never watched it, and my girlfriend at the time got me the first 2 seasons. She's like, "You got to please watch this with me." And I got it, and I binge watched that whole first 2 seasons, I think, in 2 weeks. I was absolutely riveted, and then I got caught up right when the show was like, oh, what the fuck is this?
You're like, oh, no.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed, but the finale, it's like we almost knew that's what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I kept reading things online like, no, that's not what it's going to be. And then it was like, no, that's what it's going to be. So I was kind of bummed out by it, but I loved it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, of course.
Fun fact, the only episodes of Lost that I've ever seen are the premiere and the finale.
Wow.
So, are you serious?
Yes, I am. And because the story is, here's what happened. I really wanted to watch the show.
Yeah.
It seemed like it would be right up my alley, but I was in college at the time, and I did not have cable. I didn't have access to the situation. So I watched the pilot on a rerun, and I was like, I'm gonna watch this eventually. And then I never got the DVDs or whatever. And then socially, it was time for the finale.
Everyone's like having a viewing party.
And I was like, well, sure, I'll go.
Yeah.
And so those are the only 2 episodes of Lost. I still want to see it.
So
too.
they crashed, then just they're dead.
And then they were dead.
Yeah.
All right, I just saved
that's how
myself
plane
7
crashes
years.
work.
Exactly.
But it was. I mean, that night was fun though because they had that 2.5-hour special prior to it,
right?
So anybody could kind of get caught up on it.
Yeah, you get the gist.
You get the gist, but
I think if you read enough Entertainment Weekly at that time, you kind of knew sort of what was going on.
Entertainment Weekly is the affordable. If you can't afford Time Warner, spend $4 a week and you'll get caught up on everything.
You'll know
know
what you need to know.
That's exactly.
Yeah, you'll know what's hot, what's not, and what's 5 minutes ago.
And what fits on a giant bullseye.
Exactly. Yeah, that show for me, it's funny you said binge watch because that is the first show I really remember binge watching.
Yeah, me too.
Because that was sort of must-see TV, and I remember my friend gave me the Season 1 DVD, and I just tore through it. I've seen that pilot more than maybe any other episode of television because I would start evangelizing to friends, be like, you got to get in on this show.
Right.
Then by Season 4, I was like, I'm so sorry I did this to you.
Yeah.
But now you're stuck here with me, kind of like how they're stuck on the island.
See, that was all part of the experience. They did that on purpose, you realize.
Exactly.
It was the ultimate viewing experience.
It's a real crucible through which friendships are forged.
Exactly.
But fun fact about the pilot, Jack Shepherd, played by Matthew Fox, was actually supposed to die in the pilot episode. And they wrote it with Michael Keaton in mind to play Jack.
Wow.
But Keaton didn't want to do a series, so he dropped out when they decided that Jack was going to survive.
And by the way, Michael Keaton from Pittsburgh.
I was just about to say that.
That's
up
awesome.
top. I knew that. That was a piece of trivia that I actually knew.
He's been popping up everywhere recently, and
As
I'm
he
so happy
should.
about it. He was in Need for Speed as like the weird race director who was living in a lighthouse. RoboCop. I don't know what Gary Oldman and Michael Keaton were doing in RoboCop, but they were the best part.
Being awesome.
I liked RoboCop.
I liked RoboCop too. I'm with you.
I didn't dislike it. I just wished they'd gone further. I wish they'd gone for like the hard R, like the original.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it was its own thing, but I wish they'd sort of like committed a little bit more.
Yeah, I think they tried to make a broad, appealing film, but at the end of the day, look, I loved how violent it was. I'd buy that for $1. I wanted to hear that, but look, to see that scene where If I Only Had a Heart is playing, and I thought that was so
I liked it too.
great.
I think people were a little hard on RoboCop simply because it was not the Verhoeven movie, which I totally understand. But that's the thing, like being a horror person, I hear about this all the time. Why are you remaking this? Why are remakes? Blah, 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 blah. But it's like, guys, you can't have it both ways. You either want the exact... Well, look, remakes are inevitable, first of all, because obviously the fans would not want a remake to happen. But we can't write off all remakes because The Fly is a remake, The Thing is a remake. There are lots of good remakes. But that being said, it's like, okay, if you can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, they're just trying to rip off the original. That wasn't the original. But then you also can't say, that wasn't the original. I want the original. It's like you have to...
If you want the original, watch the original.
It's like what happened with Superman Returns. Superman Returns was paying homage to the original 78 Donner Superman film, and it's like then people slammed it. It's like, well, And then it's like, what do you want? And then you get Man of Steel reboot. It's like, well, I love the 78.
That's
it's like,
how
what
I
the fuck, man?
I feel the exact same way about Superman too.
Yeah, I love Returns and I love Man of Steel. I love all of them. Anything Superman, it's like Superman fights pudding. It's like, okay, he's going to Shawnee's. I'm in. I'll watch it. I'll watch him fuck up a buffet.
Have you seen the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2?
I've seen literally everything. I have that box set. I think it's awesome.
The Superman 2 Richard Donner cut is my favorite superhero movie of all time.
Of all times.
Of all time.
Because the original Superman film is my favorite of all times, ever, hands down. I mean, the effects don't hold it, but the story is great. They're charming. He is Superman, Christopher. And there's a moment in Man of Steel where Henry Cavill, he's the new Superman, where he's, gonna blast up through that world changer thing, and the pressure is hitting his face. It's like he's in a wind tunnel, and there's literally like 2 or 3 seconds where he looks exactly like Christopher Reeve, and I was like, holy shit!
Exactly what you're talking about.
Did they do that on purpose? He looks
I
just
wonder
like
if
him.
they did.
I think they might have.
You should if you haven't seen it. There's a moment, freeze frame it, and I swear to God, it's Christopher Reeve in the
noticed
movie.
that too.
It's crazy.
That's so funny that you picked up on that. I noticed that too when I saw it.
But I will say this too. I think John Carter from Mars, very underrated.
Yeah,
I'd love to see a sequel to that. And the one movie I always wish I could see a sequel to, Master and Commander.
Master and Commander. Yeah, I really. There's so many novels, so they could really keep going with that series as long as they wanted. It's just those are really they're expensive to make period pieces, and they just didn't do well enough, I guess. But
where they would be great for though is a cable,
premium cable.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Miniseries.
Yeah, as I mean, Black Sails. Yeah, it's fine, but I'd rather see like a Master and Commander miniseries. And they've had some good ones. Like I remember there was a Horatio Hornblower series, like probably 10 years ago now.
Yeah,
but yeah. More of that, please.
More of that, please.
Execs. Yeah, but I agree with you guys about the nostalgia mining. It's a trap because
and it's a slippery slope too because like when you see something that's clearly disrespecting all like remnants of the source material, as a fan, your heart just like crumples. But at the same time, it's like it's not all bad, guys.
Yeah.
There's always something you can find that's fun, and even like those Schumacher Batman films. There's always I know they're campy and they got away from like Tim Burton's vision, but it's still like it's a popcorn film. It's kind of fun.
Exactly. I remember enjoying them as a kid. I still have somewhere the little frosted glass collectible mugs from McDonald's.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, I remember them fondly. Now I go back and I'm like, Jesus Christ, what is Arnold Schwarzenegger saying?
That one is amazing.
You can't win them all. I just can't wait. Well, I can wait, but it's going to happen. This is going to happen. They're going to start remaking John Hughes movies, and people need to accept that. It's terrible that it's going to happen, but I guarantee it'll happen. And
that's
do you think they'll call them by the same name though? Like, do you think they'll be like The Breakfast Club, but it's set in like 2015?
Maybe.
Or do you think it'll be like a true throwback, like set in the 80s and they're remaking it?
I think it would probably be set in modern day.
I could see it on TV first.
Because the one thing that I think could be kind of cool is seeing like how advanced Ferris Bueller's like tricks and like how he gets out of like going to school, how that could be with modern technology.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want there to be as many remakes, because the problem is there's so many cool movies out there that get short shrift. Like Edge of Tomorrow was one of the smartest, like sleekest, best produced, best made sci-fi films I've seen in a long time. And it just got shoved to the side because it opened against like something based on an existing property, Fault in Our Stars. It didn't really have much of a chance. But, then you see a movie like Transformers 4 makes $300 million its opening weekend and doesn't have half the heart or wit or capability about it.
By the way, Tom Cruise was hilarious in that movie.
Oh, so
I've
good.
never seen him be I think the other one was Night and Day, where he was kind of funny. But in this movie, he really was funny.
Yeah,
and
he really
was
sold
charming, and you get why he's like. That's a movie where you see him, you're like, I get why he's a movie star, and he's been working since he was 20. And how old is he, by the way?
He's in his 50s.
He?
Yeah, he's in his 50s.
Yeah,
but he still looks great.
Yeah, he's kind of like an Asian woman, where he will look like he's 30 something.
Yeah.
Until he hits like 65, then he'll suddenly be the oldest man of all time.
That's like Al Pacino. Yeah. I feel like Al Pacino, like one day, just woke up and Rip Van Winkle had aged.
Yeah, it was like
overnight.
The clip holding back all his excess skin fell off, and it was just like.
Whoa.
By the way, when Emily Blunt did that yoga thing and she comes up like that, it's like that right there once I see that, it's like, shoot me in the head so I can come back
Yeah,
just
right?
for this one particular moment over and over and over again. I could watch that like Groundhog Day over and over.
That'll be in like the director's cut. Just
Yeah.
15 minutes of him doing
Just
that.
get my Umbro shorts
Yes.
and play that back for me now.
I think there's a GIF for that.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Internet. Thank you for providing this valuable public
No,
service.
but you know what? All these summer blockbusters need to get serious for a minute about their marketing. That's the thing. We talked about this. Edge of Tomorrow, that trailer
It looked terrible.
It looks like the same movie. I went and saw Godzilla, and in the thing for Godzilla, 3 trailers back to back: Jupiter Ascending, which has been pushed, Edge of Tomorrow, and Interstellar. It's the same trailer over, and so it's yes.
But how do you
exactly
sell
it.
Edge of Tomorrow? That's a tough to kind of sell the synopsis.
Play up the
and-
comedy is what I think. Like,
Yeah.
make people know it's an action comedy. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard. Yeah, it's hard sci-fi, but you're gonna laugh your ass off.
Yeah. That was
Like-
the thing I was surprised by the most, because you're right. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was coming. I just kept hearing, this movie's awesome.
Right.
You got to go
Yeah.
see this movie. And I went, and I was like, how did I not know how funny this was?
Be
You're
like
right. Yeah.
sci-fi Groundhog's
Yep.
Day.
Yeah.
I'm sold. I'm in.
And that's the other thing. I kept hearing sci-fi Groundhog Day, but I thought they meant in premise.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't think that they meant like, and it's actually funny.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's a tough sell, but I mean they got to get better at that, because it's stuff like that, stuff like Pacific Rim, that they just sell the completely wrong way.
Exactly.
They need to do better.
Even Planet of the Apes, I have to
Yeah.
say, they're marketing it as this sort of like hard action movie with like Gary Oldman as this massive villain, and the best moments are just like the interactions between the characters. Not
Right.
The action set pieces are fantastic, but I think that does it a disservice almost.
Yeah, that's like when you go see Iron Man, for example. Like, it's the only superhero movie I've ever seen where I'm like, I want to see more Tony Stark.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
Like,
yes.
It's like, I love Iron Man. I love the action, but
Yeah.
that dude's fucking awesome, and I'll watch anything he does.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, thank God for that role. That really revitalized Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the whole, because you think about it, prior to that, it was the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
But if Iron Man tanks, I don't know that we have the Avengers.
Yeah. Oh no. If
That-
Iron Man had not done well,
That's a great
this
story.
whole Marvel empire would not be where it is.
Anytime
Yeah.
you have the opportunity to read or listen to Favreau talk about that whole experience, about fighting to cast Downey and fighting for the look and the vision and all of that, it's a fascinating story. And it's funny how we forget that nobody, in terms of tiered superheroes, we didn't know who Iron Man was.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
he's not Batman, he's not Superman. He's
Right.
he's this like guy who's like B-list is generous. I mean, it's
Yeah.
amazing what they were able to do with that.
Your EP on Sullivan's son is Peter Billingsley. And Peter, Vince Vaughn, and Favreau, they all came up together with Swingers. They did Made together. And Pete told me a lot of stories about how the first pass of that movie was just unwatchable. But they figured it out. It's like, this is a guy who, it's all about his heart. And once they did that, everything kind of clicked. And he said that was the difference.
It's really cool.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I think we're approaching our time limit.
All right.
Yeah, Steve, thank you so much.
Thank you.
for
Hey,
being
guys,
here
this
today.
was fun. It was nice to get to
Good.
talk movies, and I learned a ton of stuff. I did not know about the 700 flights of stairs
Yeah,
in Pittsburgh, so I'm
next
excited.
time you're climbing a set of stairs in Pittsburgh, be like, just check it off
I
the
want
list.
you to
Yeah.
tweet at both of us, like
Yeah.
a photo.
Yeah,
Number 47, check.
We got 3 rivers, but we also have 700 flights
Exactly.
of stairs.
And you need to climb all
it's
of
a
them.
solid ratio to have.
Yeah.
I
And
think-
by the way, it was great. I think I lost 3 pounds.
Oh, yeah, this is
It's like that Bikram yoga.
We're helping you
Yeah.
get down to show weight. Yeah. Clarke, thank you so much for stepping in as a guest host.
Thank you for having me.
So, you have a new special, hour-long special on Netflix. It's called
Champion, yeah.
Excellent. And Sullivan & Son runs
Every
TBS.
Tuesday, 10 o'clock, 9 Central. But I got to say, I came in here missing Razzle. Fuck Razzle.
That's what I'm saying.
Thank you, Clark.
My
I have it
pleasure.
tattooed on my lower back.
Much better.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I'll
So,
take it.
Razzle, if you're listening to this, don't cry. We'll see you soon. Just shed a tear of joy, like the opposite of that Native American from that old commercial. Pretend someone unlittered. Someone just recycled.
Exactly.
So where can people find you on the World Wide Web?
Craigslist.
Craigslist,
Usually
yeah.
I'm on a chat
Random
roulette.
encounters.
Yeah.
And sometimes during a Coldplay concert, I'll be on Grindr.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
No, it's everything Steve Byrne Live. It's the website Steve Byrne Live, Instagram, with Twitter, all that shit.
Cool.
It's all Steve Byrne
It's
Live.
all about that brand.
It all
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Yeah, it's always a bummer when someone tags you on Instagram and it's a different handle. Come on, guys.
This is the
Get it
worst.
together.
Yeah, I'm Steve Byrne from Blue's Clues. That's
Yes.
usually what I get.
Oh,
yeah.
God. Well,
I was wondering what that giant blue dog was doing.
yeah,
over
exactly.
Yes.
I thought this was a pet-free zone, although I think he's a service dog.
there.
That's what I
Definitely a
say.
service
Yeah,
dog.
That's what I say.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
blue is a dude, right? Am I crazy? There's blue and magenta. I know there were two.
Blue's the boy.
Anyway, that's a debate for another episode. Clark, where can people find you
I
on the
am.
internet?
Thank you. I'm on the Twitters and the Instagrams at Clarke Wolfe. Clark with an E and Wolf with an E.
Mhm. And where can people find the Bloodcast?
Oh, it's not on Nerdist.
I'll say.
They can find
Sorry, Ryan Turek.
Yeah, so they can find it on the interwebs.
Cool. So just Google the Bloodcast.
Yeah,
you'll
the
find it.
Bloodcast. It's on Geek Nation.
Okay, sweet. And if my Twitter handle is at OsteoFerocious, and if you'd like to interact with the podcast, you can find us on Twitter at TWL Podcast. You can email us if you have any facts you'd like to have featured on the show. It's twlpodcast@gmail.com. And guess what? We're on Facebook, too. We'll like your picture of your baby. That's Today We Learned with Razzle and Dan. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate the kind words and the comments on iTunes, the reviews you've been leaving. Super sweet. Thank you again. I'd like to thank Steve Byrne, Clarke Wolfe one more time. And as always, if you can dream it, wake up. Stop sleeping.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.